The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Each year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the feast of Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up according to festival custom. After they had completed its days, as they were returning, the boy Jesus remained behind in Jerusalem, but his parents did not know it. Thinking that he was in the caravan, they journeyed for a day and looked for him among their relatives and acquaintances. But not finding him, they returned to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting amongst the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. And all who heard him were astounded at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. And his mother said to him, "Son, why have you done this to us? Your father and I have been looking for you with great anxiety." And he said to them, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" But they did not understand what he said to them. He went down with them and came to Nazareth and was obedient to them. And his mother kept all these things in her heart. And Jesus advanced in wisdom and age and favor before God and man. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Well, good morning. Today we celebrate the Feast of the Holy Family. For me, growing up, we called it Family Sunday. It was a day when we went together to my grandmother's house. The whole family met there, and more celebrating, more family. I'm sure there's somebody else in this church that thinks, "Oh my gosh, how much more family can I take?" But there's some others that are thinking about family that's not with us this year. Maybe someone off visiting family or friends in another part of the country. Maybe it's a relative serving in the armed forces. Or maybe it's someone very dear that's spending Christmas with God. We discover that when someone's missing, that we see how much they really mean in our lives. I recall back at Thanksgiving time in the news, there was a small child found wandering late at night alone in a store. Instantly, the media and many well-meaning citizens were ready to string up the child's neglectful parents. But by time the evening news came on, we figured out that it was an extended family that had gone out on Thanksgiving night into the morning to go Christmas shopping, and they had multiple cars, and each thought the child was with the other. Years ago, I had my own experience. I decided to take my then 3-year-old daughter shopping to one of the local department stores. I can tell you I was a cocky young dad who knew just how to handle any situation. So, what could happen? Well, we're moving among the racks, and I remember to stop to look at an item. I'm pretty sure it was a gift for my wife. When I looked up, my baby girl was gone. In an instant, I went from calm and in charge to panic and ready to seal the doors and call in all the help. I started a quick search of the area. Nothing. I tried to remember exactly what she was wearing, and my mind was totally blank. I called her name. Nothing. I was about to do the ultimate. I was about to ask the sales associate for help. You know, we men don't do that. But just then, a little head peeked out from one of those round clothing racks and smiled and said, "Hi, Daddy, I'm hiding." So I gritted my teeth, picked her up, hugged her very tightly, walked out of the store. And I can tell you, I didn't take her shopping alone for a long time after that. So much for the cool, confident, in-charge dad, right? But in that moment of panic, I can tell you I knew what Mary and Joseph must have felt when they discovered Jesus wasn't with them as they started back home to Jerusalem. As a parent, we become very focused on our children. Where are they? What are they doing? Are they safe? How can I protect them when they aren't right here with me? What kind of parent am I if I let something happen under my watch? What would life be like without them? And it doesn't stop when they're small. Our gospel today is about Mary and Joseph finding Jesus. They searched for days, and I'm sure it seemed like an eternity for their son. Now, Jesus was a 12-year-old boy, and he learned a lesson about how his actions affected Mary and Joseph. And it tells us, he returned with them to Nazareth and was obedient to them. My family story, not long after that, my sisters took my daughter shopping. They told her that the mannequins were really kids that had hidden from their parents. So we didn't have a problem with her for a little while. I'm sure today that would be child abuse or something, but at the time, I know, not quite the Christian thing to do. But I know that incident, I learned a lesson about being a father. The Feast of the Holy Family reminds us that this family, this Holy Family made up of Mary, who was conceived and remained without sin, with Joseph, our model of faith and justice, and Jesus, the child, fully human yet fully divine, that they were human. They were like us. What parent among us can't identify with the worry, anxiety, even fear that comes from not knowing the whereabouts of their child, even if it's just a brief moment? And I can tell you, over these past couple months, I found out I'm not alone. Most people that went out had a story to relate that was awful close. But you know, whether a child unintentionally wanders off or intentionally runs away, the emotions that touch a parent's heart are just the same. What adolescent has not thought that they were old enough to make their own decisions, whether out of ignorance and without malice or out of defiance? These are situations that almost every family experiences in one way or another. This feast of the Holy Family presents us with two important reminders that can help us in our faith. The first is that Jesus, Mary, and Joseph were the Holy Family, but not the perfect family. Like all families, they had their difficult moments. We shouldn't hesitate to take our own family situations to the Holy Family, knowing that they understand us and can help us through their intercession and their intervention. The second point is that every family is called to be a holy family. The Holy Family is a model for God's loving mercy, His forgiveness. Pope Francis, when speaking about the message that comes from the Holy Family, tells us that it's a message of faith. The Holy Family, the family of Nazareth, he said, is holy because it is centered on Jesus. And when a family has faith, it gives them the strength to face up to difficult situations, just as it did for Mary and Joseph. We grow in our own holiness by growing in unconditional love for one another, for praying for one another, and for praying with each other.